Doesn't anyone just enjoy drag anymore? Hi, Ugly. It's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hat or Rat. And today we'll be reviewing episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 4. And today, some of our queens had the honor of winning the RuPaul Christmas Ornament meme turned trophy in the inaugural NAFF-TA Awards. I'll identify those winners as we go. And for the main challenge in Runway, they were put into pairs and asked to create 2 high-fashion runway looks using only the fabrics found in their big, giant bingo boxes. Bingo! So we'll be breaking down each look and ranking the queens in pairs from rottest rat to hottest hot, based on nothing but my completely invalid and incredible opinion. And then at the end of today's video, we'll be breaking down some unaired drama as spilled by our quietest but brightest UK starlet, Starlet. As it turns out, our goofy little girl had quite a lot to say over the past week concerning her elimination and how she thought she upset Rupaul, whose feet she painted, and more. And finally, we'll be recapping what the queens themselves thought about the episode, who were apparently facing a bit of blowback from the fan base. First up, all that glitters is not necessarily gold, as it turns out. At the bottom of my list tonight, we've got Cheddar Gorgeous and Copper Topp, who were given the gold box. And they are collectively at the bottom of my list for one reason and one reason only. They really did not work together well as a team. Their 2 looks were the least cohesive of any pairing tonight, and one of them way outshined the other. Let's talk about it. First up, Copper Topper, who's a little bit pressed this episode because her peers have voted her best background actress in a non-speaking role, aka queen who has most faded into the background. I mean, girl, I'd be pressed if my fellow Drag Race queens voted me that too, but as the other queens told her, they were asked to choose and she was the one they chose. Which is, yes, kind of ironic because of the queens in this cast, she is one of the louder ones and even wears outfits with words written on them. Like, how the hell is someone like this fading into the background? And I think 2 things were going on with Copper Topp in these 3 episodes. Primarily, I don't think the producers knew what exactly to do with her storyline. She's an extremely talented queen with a lot to offer, but my god, look at the cast. And of this cast, I think Copper struggled the most to really find her niche and brand herself to the judges. She just wasn't standing out. And her look tonight certainly didn't help with the problems that she was having in this competition. She is giving Drag Race drag queen staple Barbarella, and ultimately missing that element of Copper Topp. I'd even go as far to say that a queen saying their look is inspired by Barbarella in their confessional is as played out as me dressing like a sing queen. If you can't read yourself, how the hell are you gonna read anybody else? But seriously, if Barbarella is so fierce and talented and every drag queen wants to be her, like, let's get her on Drag Race already. Barbarella for season 15, am I right? But worse than this look being a cliche reference, I think the way the bodysuit fits is a little questionable around those leg hems, and there's just too much going on with the top half of her look. The gold hair, the gold makeup, the cape, it's just a lot to look at, and then nothing on the bottom. Just like I like it. Ow. Nothing on the bottom but a white boot, that does not match the rest of the look or Cheddar's look. This look is a rat. But speaking of Miss Gorgeous, the alien deity of the competition, she in stark contrast to what Copper Topp did on the runway tonight flawlessly executed her look. She absolutely is giving alien from space, but her own flavor. I love in particular the way that she has integrated some gold flakes into all the waves of that wig, and they're matching the gold flakes of the cape that's draped around her shoulders. This look though does suffer in some of the same ways that Copper's does. It is a little plain once you get down to the bottom part of the waist, and I don't understand the black boot just as much as I don't understand the solid white boot. I think it would have made a lot more sense for them to just make gold boot covers. Cause like, yeah, their capes are lined, great. However, the boots just stick out like a sore thumb. But Cheddar's look at least makes sense for who she is as a drag character and has some more artistic inspiration than her teammate Copper's. So I would leave this look with like a very safe hot. But girl, Miss Cheddar did her teammate Copper real dirty letting her go out like that. Gotta say. And next up, Team Purple. But first, did you know that you can watch every season of RuPaul's Drag Race ever just by visiting another country? Which is a lot easier to do than it sounds with the help of today's video sponsor and award-winning VPN, Surfshark. Here's how it works. Click the link in the description of this video to get Surfshark, then check out your favorite streaming platform's geo-restrictions. Next, surf on over to Argentina, for example, with just a click. And bada bing, bada boom, content unlocked. Thanks, Surfshark. And even better than unlocking content from around the world, Surfshark can help keep you safe online by blocking ads and trackers. Plus, Surfshark can help protect your internet traffic from the prying eyes of snoopers on public Wi-Fi, and even your very own ISP, who, by the way, can see everything. And Surfshark is the best VPN out there because it's got what? Unlimited device login. Plus there's no risk in just trying it out because Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. And when you click the link in the description of my video and use code BUSSY, you'll get 83% off and 3 extra months of Surfshark for free. That's code BUSSY to get Surfshark for 83% off and 3 extra months for free. Thanks Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Now back to our purple ladies. I've put them second to bottom tonight for the sole reason of their looks being very uninspired. The queens were asked to make a pair of high fashion looks, but I don't think that they left the department store. Still, obviously better than me though, who never left Amazon.com. I don't want to see any more tucking H&M. Just kidding. This is definitely a step above H&M, but only a step. And first in our group, we've got Danny Beard, who was awarded Best Scene Stealing Attention Grabbing Camera Hog. Honestly, not a bad thing to be awarded, and I think this would honestly boost my confidence in the competition because it shows the other queens are looking at you as someone who knows how to work the camera. So to Danny's credit, she does tell Rue in the workroom when she's doing her walkabouts that this is not really her thing, but neither was last week, and she did after all still participate in the winning group and get a repeater badge for her performance. Rue then tells this team to embellish their looks and make them more than simple, but I don't think they really listened other than adding these gold chains. Danny's look, while I would enjoy for I think, let's say, a hosting gig at a nightclub for a comedy show, I'm just not reading as high fashion or getting anything from either of these two's looks that says anything about their personalities. And they've almost got the exact same looks on. Danny's dress is a little skimpier though and rides up as she walks down the runway, which hey, could be a feature and not a bug, but I read it as she didn't quite get the dimensions of the dress right. So because she looks good, she just didn't, for me, meet the brief. I would leave this look with a warming up. And Pixie's in the exact same boat for me tonight. The only difference is like maybe if Danny's look was giving bridesmaid, Pixie's would be giving mother of the bridesmaid, or as Sminty would call it, old maiden. And in that sense it was just a little too long and I think unnecessarily aged Pixie's drag character here. Not sure why they went for this mother-daughter kind of thing. But again, this look is good, just not great for me, so I would leave it with a warming up. And next up, Team Mint Green. Girl, that color. Did they not camera test that color? Or maybe they did, conspiracy theory time, and maybe they put that mint green color in there to sabotage whichever team got it. Just a thought. Let's break it down. They say their fashion inspiration here is Bottega Veneta. Remember, the 5th of November. Insert laugh track here. So Bottega Veneta, not something I've ever seen on Amazon, so I don't recognize it, but did they achieve that? Let's look at Jonbers' look first, who Rupaul tells to her face in front of the rest of the girls and the pit crew that her name is terrible. Your drag name is terrible. Welcome to the club. But Jonbers, or Jay as Rue is now calling her, comes out in one of the more successful looks, I think, of the night, or at least upper halves. I love that asymmetrical Xena kind of warrior princess fantasy that she has going on there, and the woven pieces of fabric that create that shoulder are really, really cool. I'm not super in love with the wet hair or the boring part of the bottom part of the outfit, so this is kind of like a half-rot, half-hot situation for me, because I think she really was a victim more of the color of the fabric than anything else. And her teammate Black Peppa, who was voted Beast in Show by her peers, aka exhibits the most star quality, both struggled in was successful in the same way Jonbers was tonight. It was Black Peppa's idea to do the weaving of this fabric and the ambition that thought required. Wow, I love that. And of all the looks, I think she had the best idea. It really just was a lack of time tonight that prevented Peppa from executing her vision. She's walking down the runway and ends up with the zipper of the skirt that was originally on the back on the front somehow. Easy access at least. And the top part of her dress is literally just falling off of her body. Her look though, despite its technical flaws, I would still give a safe 3 flame hot because I would rather see a queen or pair of queens in a case like this reach for the moon and land somewhere in the stars rather than serve something predictable and boring, even if predictable and boring fits and doesn't fall off. Next up, Team I'm Blue, da ba dee da ba da. Think about that song every morning at the bus stop. And Team Blue is comprised of Sminty Drop in the Fill, a pairing I particularly enjoyed watching interact tonight because we've got, as she's voted by her peers, this chaotic hot mess of energy meets the refined, calm, and collected LaFille. Let's look at Sminty Drop's look first, which is one of my favorites of the night. I absolutely love that thigh-high sparkly stocking, which matches the sparkly blue opera glove that she's got on. The contrast of all that sparkle and glitter playing in those runway lights works really, really well against the less exciting and softer blue fabric that makes the dress skirt and top part of her look. Also, did y'all catch that frame of Sminty outlining her head on the fabric, like by laying on the floor? Literally me if I ever had to design something. This look is very 90s supermodel meets almost like 20s kind of swimwear, flapper fantasy. I just think she did an excellent job showing skin where it counted, but also covering up skin or parts of her body where it counts, like with the head wrap. Just another drop of fashion into the pool of Sminty hot mess. That is. Hot mess. That's what her teammates voted her. I didn't say that. I'm a hot mess. Woof. I'm always a mess, and I've never pretended to be anything less. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. And Sminty's partner, LaFille, looks equally effortlessly chic. And they, I think, did a really great job of making themselves look like two pieces from the same fashion collection, but giving very different fashion eras. I'm getting I Dream of Jeannie vibes from LaFille's look, which I love, and as literally all of the judges praised her for. I also want to recognize all of the rouging elements, the way that top crop top fits, and I also like that she's got a different flavor of head wrap on. This look, though, next to Sminty's, I will say, I feel like is missing a bit of that blue glitter fabric. I just wanted a few more peeps of that, maybe on her hands, or maybe sewn to the lining of her cape or something, which, yes, would have taken her a lot more time to do, so I definitely understand why she did it. I will also say that because these two have such a dramatic height difference, it probably would have been a little bit better if LaFille's silhouette in the bottom part of that dress had opened up on the side like Sminty's, just to give her body a little more height. But again, small critiques, and I definitely dream of LaFille. This look is hot. And the blue team for me was beaten only by the black team, comprised of Dakota, Schiffer, and Baby. And these two are an excellent pairing as well. You can tell they both love fashion. I don't know a thing about it, but they are talking about Richard Quinn, the 90s, and all kinds of silly little names and decades that I don't know about. I think these two also worked super well for each other because they are very much in personality foils of each other. Dakota is more soft-spoken and careful with her fashion and ideas, and Baby is more energetic, confident, and willing to, as we see on the runway, show a bit more skin than Dakota is. Let's first dive into the details of Baby's look, who's giving main pop girl diva Ariana Grande, which did kind of catch me off guard because they were playing that clip in the workroom of her showing off just the skirt part of the outfit with nothing else, and it does look a kind of frumpy, but that final effect is flawless. Like, girl, if that was giving bin bag realness, I'll be the bin. Where's the sign-up list? But yeah, I love her miles of legs that she is showing off, and I love how she's showing off the contrasting fabric pattern in different ways than her partner Dakota. And I think there's just something about those two trails of fabric coming off as a sort of train on the back of her dress are really fresh and fun. Another #1 hit for Baby, but who's surprised? This look is hot. And Dakota, like her personality, is giving a softer side of this look, but still keeping it flirty with the short cut of the dress skirt, and spicy, I think, with the way her hair curls are just like sitting on top of her head. Again, I think it was really, really smart of these girls to use this fabric to help emphasize how great these looks were, because as we have seen on RuPaul's Drag Race, doing an all black look can be very dangerous in the runway lights. You run the risk of losing texture and silhouette, but using the right complements, you can emphasize how powerful the LBD can be. I don't need to tell y'all twice, but this look is hot. And the win tonight, no surprise, is given to Baby and Dakota. And this was definitely judging I agreed with. I think the only competition against them really were Sminty and LaFille, who definitely gave two cohesive fashion looks. However, Team Baby and Dakota just felt a touch more modern, which I think pushed them to the finish line for me. But when we start to talk about bottoms for this episode, I am a little confused about what happens. They always do this on Drag Race. They'll be like, here's a group challenge, but we're gonna judge you individually. Or here is a completely individualistic challenge, but we're gonna judge you as a group. I feel like we definitely learned more than anything as seasoned viewers of RuPaul's Drag Race that group challenges are often just an excuse for the producers to step in and to maybe redirect the season, and of course they see more fit for how it's playing out. And tonight we see Black Peppa and Copper Top plucked from their pairings and put in the bottom two together. And if this were Bussy Queen's Drag Race, we would have Copper Top and Cheddar Gorgeous lip syncing tonight. But it's not. Concerning Peppa and Copper's lip sync though, I did react to it over on my Patreon Patreon as part of my new podcast called The Bus Stop. The Bus Stop is a Patreon exclusive podcast that I've just started and I'm having so much fun with. It's made up of my reactions to the best moments of each episode of Drag Race and also both personal and drag behind the scenes updates. It's fun, relaxed, we talk, we chat, spill the tea, and sip the tea. And again, you can get access to The Bus Stop, my new Patreon exclusive podcast, by clicking the link in the description of this video and visiting patreon.com/bussyqueen. See you there. This lip sync though, good God, did we witness a murder? Black Peppa went in on this. I felt like I was back watching the lip sync between Denali and Kimura Hall. Like, that is how much of a serve Black Peppa's lip sync was. She was giving all the splits, all the drops, and in ways that made sense with the music. And she had me guessing at every moment what she would do because she kept switching up her energy. And that is what I think truly makes a great lip sync. Don't get me wrong though, I don't think Topp did bad in this lip sync. It's just that she needed to do a hell of a lot more than that to beat Black Peppa. I seriously could have watched an hour of Black Peppa doing that lip sync. So Miss Top or Copper Bottom this episode does go home. And on Twitter, she left the fans with this message: I feel very sad, but very proud. And some of her sisters like Black Peppa quote tweeted and wrote, so proud of what we did. Just May wrote, didn't she bloody smash it? What an icon. And Dakota wrote, I love Top Queen so much. All sentiments I agree with. I certainly don't think that she had a bad showing on RuPaul's Drag Race. My God, the talent level of this season is just, I think, something that we have just never seen the likes of before. That said, I'm sure it was not easy to be voted fading into the background by your peers and go home on that same episode, so y'all make sure to go send her some love on social media. She deserves it. And finally, concerning our queen's reactions to the fan base reacting to the episode. Pixie Polite said, mad seeing people's opinions on this week's episode, cause in the room we all agreed with placements, but some of y'all really watching 17 different versions of the show based on who your quote faves are. LaPhil wrote, the design challenge is so important cause it's the only time when queens have to rely on their own skills and vision, no stylists, no budgets. Black Peppa wrote, with the vision I had, I underestimated the time. Nonetheless, I wouldn't change a thing. Enjoy the show. P.S. Thank you Danny Beard for the white heels. And Sminty wrote, defending her look, everyone saying I was just wearing a two-piece. Like, do you know how hard it is to make gloves and stockings out of non-stretch fabric, let alone sequin? And considering there was a lot of fan discussion about how, quote, plain some of the looks were, I did want to remind y'all that the boxes of fabric given to the queens were actually just plain themselves, because after all, the runway category high fashion was intended more to show off outfit construction and understanding of fashion than it was, like, let's say, a traditional design challenge where the goal is to be more avant-garde. So with all that in mind, make sure y'all go give some love to our queens who are putting on an ultra fabulous season. Now on to the dragon drama of our little Starlet. First, I want to recap her interview she did with the Drag Race yearbook video, in that she told the host why she blacked that she really did not know anything about Jerry Halliwell or the Spice Girls. Oh my God. And also reminisced on some of the olden days of Drag Race where it did feel like the runway maybe counted for closer to 50% of the judgments.
I think over time, there was a time when looks were highly favored on Drag Race. Like, it's of course going to evolve over time. They look for different things each season. Each season has its own flavor. And apparently it just wasn't this season.
And she also revealed that the reason she was chosen for Black Peppa's team on the episode she was eliminated was because in episode 1, she had helped Black Peppa paint her feet pink for the Mr. Blobby look.
So when she was getting ready for Blobby, I was completely ready as Patsy, ready to go. And she was struggling last minute to paint her feet pink. And I was like, let me go help my angel. So she was like, Starlet painted my feet pink, so she's going to be in my group.
Blobby, 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 blobby. She also did an interview with Digital Spy where they asked her questions like, what was going through your minds during that lip sync? She said, the best way I would describe it, comparing it to how Valentina described it, it feels like you're not doing it and you're sitting and watching, that kind of thing. And she also clarified what happened with her elimination exit line. She said, when I walked off, there was a moment they made me worry a bit. I said my exit line at the front of the stage and then I walked off and I was really emotional. I just needed to get off camera because I was about to completely break down, and I did the second I got off the stage. There are times when some queens walk off in a huff or they're pissed off and they kind of miff off all the judges and the judges pull a face like they were rude. The contestant was rude. And RuPaul kind of had this weird expression when I walked off the stage. I was worried that she thought I was being disrespectful or rude or ungrateful. So I would maybe say to her, that's not what I was doing. I was just really, really, really emotional and I was completely heartbroken. And finally, for hottest hots in this design challenge, I'm going to give my team hottest hots to Baby and Dakota, and I'll also award the individual hottest hot of this runway runway to Baby. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and they, no surprise, also chose Baby and Dakota. And the individual hottest hot of this runway, Dakota. And finally, I want to say thanks so much to you for watching today's video. Today's video sponsor, Surfshark, you can check out using the link in the description of this video. And I want to give an extra special shout out to Nadia and K, who've just joined my Patreon at the hot tier, and Staranda Sherrod, who's just joined at the hottest hot tier, and aiding the individual, Asab Hakel, Ashley Brungart, Cyrus Dickey, Felicia, Frankie, Hector Simancas, Jeffrey Joseph, Kyle Hermes, Laura, Lisette, Louis Labrador, Ruff, Luke Peterson, Mark James, Matthew Burns, Matto, Michelle, your pal, Miss F, Neely, Sailor, Steven, Topher, Travis Lundy, Wheatley, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier at patreon.com. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye. Where are my drag enjoyers at? Let me hear your heels clack.